Good people, good people. Welcome to our international podcast. We loaded up. Who Vex News? We're broadcasting from the national capital city in Georgetown, Guyana, and we are so happy that you folks are here with us. We were holding there for the completion of the People's National Congress Reformers Press Conference, and we were paying attention to some of the issues that were stated, some of the questions that were raised, and we're very thankful for the People's National Congress reform, for the information emanating from that press conference, which we believe the country has to hear. Because you know them boys doing a lot of foolishness. You all know it's a lot of foolishness them boys doing. It's confusion powder mixed with preparatory. Just with a shot at the jumpy board, there's a lot of foolishness happening in this country.
The new jumpy board?
The new jumpy board 2.0. Folks, we have Dorit with us in the studio. You know how we do it here, tag team.
Good day, guys. How are you doing? That's the first 2 hours there. Hopefully you spend those hours very productive.
Yep. Folks, please tell me how you are doing. Welcome to the podcast. You guys are now joining us. You loaded up. Who Vex Lose? Welcome. All the pages we're broadcasting from, all the social media network sites that have afforded us present. Good to have you folks with us across the world.
Morning, Toby. How you doing? And can they see Ryan? Let me know what's up. Be the change, says Lauren Steven. Nice to you, dear. Be the change.
Sabina Jacob, what are you saying today, Sabina? What are you saying today, Sabina? Rachel Wolford is with us as well. Good day to you too, Rachel. Rachel, that's one name of my daughter, Rachel.
I'm here, Sherrod. Sherrod wants a daughter. That's all I hear.
Yep. Pam Hall, good to see you, Pam. Good to see you, Pam. And Marlon Thomas, good to see you, beautiful folks out there. Thanks for joining the podcast. What more can we ask for? What more? What more? What more can we ask? Good to have you.
Marine to Chester Paul. Good afternoon to you. How are you doing? What's up with you, Sarah?
Yep. I'm going to start my coffee. Go right ahead.
Something.
This is a girl should take. She gave me something red. Something red in the studio. In the studio here. If you all hear me talking and slurring, you all know as well. Stay close to me. Don't let me be alone. I got my songs. Right ahead.
I think today, this morning we were speaking about the mighty Pharaoh. And Sherrod was I'm busting some tunes.
Yeah. It's about my fall back. So, don't think you got it on me.
Don't think you have anything on him at all.
I got my fall back.
When it comes to singing, I do not have singing as a fallback. I do not have singing as a fallback.
You trying to tell me you don't sing for John? You never sing a song for John?
Not never. John Morrisseau sings to me.
I don't can be one siding. See, that's why you have the problem, you know. Too many women leave men to carry this thing. Too many women leave men to carry this thing.
Well,
and we gotta change that.
I was told from the inception that he used to sing prior.
So you just left the whole thing for it just because?
Definitely.
Just
exactly. Ladies would be spoiled over there.
Doesn't care about. Doesn't care about. You gotta think that. In the name of John, don't care about.
Let's do this, Marlon Thomas says.
Just like that. Marlon, how you doing? Good to have you. Good to have you, Marlon. You know what? What's Marlon is from?
What is Turtle Power? Being Turtle Power. Run the lane. Send a sticker there says Turtle Power. It's a different type of power.
Wait, no, man, it's different.
And Dawn Baines, how are you doing over there? Is it Yvonne? Hey, Yvonne, what's going on? Let us know. What's up with your end?
You know, Rhonda's different.
Oh, very, very different. Very different. Alisa Mosilal. Alisa Mosilal, thank you for joining us. Thank you for giving your comments there. We encourage you to continue to engage in conversation and discussion in the comment section. Be as open to receiving responses as you are to giving comments as well. Marlon Jacobs, how are you doing over there? Alec Boom. You know that's a different name. This morning I was asking somebody what by the name of Unruly something. Do you know what I mean, Sharon? Unruly.
Unruly, you got a baby.
Unruly.
Once it comes to do, that's how it's getting. Good to have you folks aboard, folks. Good to have you guys here. Pace and power, share the life, smash the emoji button. You know, I see over 300 of you have already joined us. The first few minutes of our podcast. We got lots of things to talk about. Least we forget. Lest we forget, folks. A lot of things. When it comes to our indigenous brothers and sisters. Right? When it comes to our indigenous brothers and sisters. Lest we forget, we've got quite a number of things to speak about. Quite a number of things. Don't come around with buddy. Quite a number of things we're going to be talking about. We're good to have you folks here with us. Great to have you folks here with us, as a matter of fact. Could not, cannot, will not do without you beautiful folks. Good to have you. And we got some company coming in the studio. Hold on.
Right, we lost the
Hold on. Right? You see somebody just here we taking something red in the studio and they land. Right? They just here we taking something red. And I sing a tune. You know, stay close to me. Don't let me be alone. And we got a knock on it, we got company. Folks gonna be holding it down right here. Right? I pull up another mic, pull up another chair, and this is how we're gonna have it. Right?
We love the surprises, you know. Yeah. We absolutely love it. We always like to bring you these guests. Always a pleasure to have folks joining us, you know.
Yep.
We have an extended family. You know how it goes out there.
And this person here is a person with a thing.
There's a person with their things. Guys, I want you to welcome in studio with us right now the lovely, beautiful Kamal Prasad, joining us out of Region 7, the Vice Chairman of Region number 7. Joining us.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, my fellow Baptistans.
What do you know, Martin already here? Rhonda is already in the house. As Rhonda, we have Kamal joining us right now. You know. You're hearing Sherrod at a distance. Sherrod is getting his other mic hooked up there.
I'm here for the lunch. What's for lunch, guys?
Kamal is here for the lunch. He is here for the lunch. Oh my goodness. And she brought gifts. I don't know about you, but Kamal brought me gifts. I love it.
It's your birthday gift.
Oh my goodness. It's a belated birthday gift. Thank you so much, guys. Kamal brought me a birthday gift, and I am so excited. I'm not paying attention to you guys right now.
I run the bartica in the house representing.
Yes.
Right now, I'm always going to bring the bartica energy when I'm here.
I see Marlinson. Hello, Kamal. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
That is correct.
I'm all mic'd up. I'm here for the lunch.
You know, sadly,
but I'm already mic'd up.
Of course. That's how we do it. You know, we don't know about doing it any other way. Kamal came to get some lunch. We mic her up. We leave you over here. We're different.
I guess you guys know that I'm always prepared.
Oh, wow.
This isn't a snack. This is a whole meal. A 3-course meal in a 5-star hotel.
Bartica
Yeah,
women
that's
different,
great.
We're different. We're very, very
We're very,
different.
very different. Yvonne Ramistar, how you doing over there, Yvonne?
You
Is
know,
it a
Joetta, talking about Bartica women, we really did change the status quo about Bartica women.
I
Growing
think
up, a little
so.
girl, and the negatives that you would normally hear about Bartica women. And now knowing that the caliber of women throughout Bartica, from the business sector, politically, Bartica women definitely raising the bar for young girls,
Correct.
young women. And I'm very proud of that, Joetta. I'm proud every time I look at you and I say, look, this is straight out of Bartica.
Born and bred. I was making a comment.
I hope my mic is not on. Folks, let me know if you can hear me clear. I hope my mic is not on.
I'm not hearing you that well, Sherrod.
You not hearing me that well?
I don't know why.
I noticed Kirk is saying turn down the music in the background.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that.
Oh, yeah, right.
You know what the gas price is.
I agree with that person that is saying that Jared has a wicked laugh.
Definitely tell him about it all the time. This wicked laugh. He doesn't hear.
What story is this stuff? Folks, you want to hear me clear? Let me know.
We're hearing you, whether or not we hear
Let me
you
know if
clear
you hear
different.
me clear.
I think there is a deliberate attempt by your system unit to not process your voice clearly.
I tried to
It wasn't me. I didn't mess with it, guys. It's all shared.
I agree, Rhonda. Bartica women, we definitely, I think women all across the country are the best. Guyanese women are the best. Sometimes we just take for granted what we have right here.
Oh, wow.
And definitely Bartica women has proven themselves and raised the bar really, really high.
Well, here's story now.
But you just mic me up without a topic or anything, and my Bartica people is in the house, so we're just gonna guess. Happy to be here in your studio.
Good.
Happy to have you. Always happy to have you.
Yes.
I don't want to say it in a braggadocious way.
Braggadocious way, it's nothing be
Thank you,
shared with
Candace.
these
This is what it
words.
is. Really good to have you.
Joetta's quite excited over her little gift.
I have Kamal got me a little present.
Yeah. Looks a lot more like you now.
And she's like this is like a child in the child now.
According to Sherrod, we got we things. So I
We're
think
women with our
upgrade.
things. Mhm.
A little upgrade.
Yep.
Women with our things over here. We do what we have to do.
Yeah,
Good
that
to have
person
you.
is saying
So,
we're
folks, we
getting
got
a
a
little
couple things we gotta
echo.
talk about.
There's a little feedback as well.
I think the feedback is coming from Mr. Duncan's end.
Marlon is saying men take women for granted. I think women sometimes take ourselves for granted too. We forget the power that we possess. So it's women realizing their own potential and ensuring that they set their standards.
That is correct. We have to do what we have to do.
All right, guys. Hope you guys are great. So we're talking about all the things that are happening, especially in the indigenous community, because we have this National Two Showers Conference Act.
Before we go into all of the nitty-gritties and the details about it, because I've been doing a lot of traveling, did any thank you, Candace. Yeah. Did MP Schumann go to the Tushao conference?
I said this morning, when it comes to Lennox Schumann, this morning I made my point and I said, in my assessment, the only thing he's left to say right now, he's just stopping short of saying vote PPP. All right. Yeah. His level of representation has completely deflected from indigenous peoples, and now he seems to be more so of pleasing the PPP administration. It's a very sad position for him to take, I must say. So, but he knows that his days are numbered as it pertains to how long he has left in the National Assembly.
I think it's quite
without agreement.
unfortunate the
Yeah.
way he has gone silent on so
Mm-hmm.
many issues that are affecting the indigenous community
Mm-hmm.
and what he pretended to represent. So I was looking
Mm-hmm.
forward to see him not just for his uh, traditional wear, which I was looking forward to seeing him show up and representing his constituency and ensuring that, you know, since he has taken that platform as a representative of the indigenous communities, the indigenous people of Guyana, I was looking forward to see him there making an input. But just like his voice has gone silent, apparently he has also walked off the scene.
Yeah, but what for us is very instructive is some of what has gone on before and some of what is now following when it concerns the People's Progressive Party civics overture to the indigenous community, our brothers and sisters. We have lived through, Donald Ramachar, for instance, talking about how if Jack Joe was here, that young indigenous teacher would have been slapped, right? Because he don't know Jack. And we've lived through that. We've lived through, for instance, the even more recent vintage. You got Nigel Darmalal, who was overheard on recording saying that if people don't not respond to the coalition government's CSO program, if they don't disassociate themselves from that program, they will have no longer have access to his office. This is the kind of treatment of our indigenous brothers and sisters.
I think the reality of it, when you're looking back to the underdevelopment of the indigenous communities throughout Guyana, and even with the PPP back in power now, and boasting of first time doing this and first time doing that, it is just a fact that they have neglected for over 23 years all these indigenous communities across Guyana, including my region, region number 7, when you don't have something as basic as proper water, electricity, access to internet, proper healthcare and education. It just proves that for the number of decades, these communities were completely neglected. And that's a proven fact. Anybody out there can do their own research or investigation, and they would see that these communities were far, far left behind. And what you see with little handouts and a tractor here and there and a little cash grant and so forth, it's just to kind of quiet the people of those communities, but they're getting the bare minimum. As a matter of fact, even less, far, far less than they truly deserve. So it's quite unfortunate that we're at this point boasting of our natural resources and so much gold and diamond being mined in these hinterland communities. But you have the people of those regions not getting the basic. So that says a lot of how you value your first people.
Yeah, and I think I believe there's a big difference when it comes to saying the right thing and doing the right thing. And the PPP administration, as is right now, they go out and they say what people say. Oh well, this all sounds good, But when it comes to doing the right thing, they have a fundamental failure in that part. They cannot do the right thing. They go out and they say, one Guyana, and then they go into the communities and they put forward systems that is completely divisive, biased, and then they go forward at another platform. They say the same thing, we support one Guyana, but when it's put to a test, you realize that it is far from the truth. And the same thing we're seeing going on right now with the National Tushos conference there, with all that the Tushos are saying, the blatant attempts to completely muzzle the voices of Tushos if they believe they may not be just singing to their tune, and the people that are actually representing the rights of their the communities that they are living in. very, very sad state of affairs. And then you're going to go and you're going to hear them give speeches as to them believing that the rights of indigenous people should be respected and all of that. But when it's put to the test, you see the complete opposite. And this is something that we have been speaking about when it comes to the PP administration for quite some time.
Well, for me, the One Guyana is quite a laughable chant, because if you're chanting One Guyana, but it's not reflected in the way you treat the citizens and the policies that are being implemented, equality and fairness across the board, then there is no such thing as One Guyana. You have two different sets of standards, depending on whether it's your support base you're dealing with or your non-support base. And governance should be for all the citizens. That's when you would truly have a nation that you can say it's one, when every citizen can enjoy the same benefits, have access to the same resources, being treated fairly across the board. So there is no such thing as One Guyana when you see one section of the Guyanese population being treated unfairly and another section being treated with top priority, as you've seen throughout the last weeks.
Correct. And I think one of the things that we have been looking at is the fact that as it is right now, the persons that the Tushaus that came down and they are part of the National Tushaus Conference over there, there are reports coming out of those groupings that says even to go visit their family members, they are being prohibited from going, restrictions of that nature. Person's basic freedom to move around is being restricted. That is the report that is coming out, and those things are very, very serious, and this is the way in which the administration goes around and continues to operate. I don't see how that could be accepted.
Well, I don't find it hard to believe, because the reality of my own situation when it comes to functioning in my capacity as an elected official, and how you're starved of resources and sidelined and disrespected in so many ways, I can only imagine for the persons that are afraid of speaking up because they're afraid of being victimized, or their entire community being victimized.
That is correct.
And this is a sad situation, but we cannot sit by and allow our country to go down that route. When the APNU AFC was in power, every little thing you heard the word, the PPP propagated the word dictatorship so effortlessly. Mm-hmm. But now, in reality, you try to silence citizens from speaking out for their rights, speaking out basic about anything that affects them. You're heading into a very dangerous situation. Mm-hmm. If you can recall, sometime, I think it was early in 2021, just in Agatash particle, mm-hmm. there was a situation there where persons from that community had actually picketed the office of in front of the RDC, mm-hmm. because of what they tried to do in that community. So it started from as soon as they got back at the helm of governance. Mm-hmm. But it's quite sad when Guyanese people are just allowing these things to keep going on.
That is true. And I think one of the things, and we've been discussing this for quite some time, is the fact that the PP administration, anybody that works for the benefit of the people, they have an issue with. The people that they don't have issues with are the people that are interested in just heeding to their command. And that's why you saw those issues, If they believe that, and this is where we talk about extensively for ever we've been talking about local democracy and the power of local governance and empowering people, grassroots leadership to make decisions at the level of the community. The PP doesn't support local democracy. They do not support grassroots leadership. This is something that we know. They've been in office for years, over 2 decades prior to the coalition administration actually going into office in 2015. And in that time, the local government elections were not held simply because they do not believe in such. They don't believe that is a course of action that they want. They believe that they should be the ones to hand pick people that they believe is just going to do whatever they command them to do. And that is how they ran things. They went back into office now in 2020 and they went out very, very quickly to make sure that they overturn whatever system of local governance and grassroots leadership that was there to actually start to institute once more those IMCs, the Interim Management Committee, and everybody knows that. That is a fact. When it comes to Region 7, even the issue with the Speedboat Owners Association, such heavy handling in politics was seen when it comes to that. Up to today, no resolution to that issue there. But they continue to go into indigenous communities and make a lot of promises to the fact that they claim to be trying in the best interest of the indigenous communities and all of that. But when put to the test, it always goes that the only things they're interested in is maintaining persons at the community levels in the indigenous communities to persons who are going to be heeding to their command. And once persons want to do something in the best interest of their community, they're going to have an issue with them. And we have the issue right now with Chinese landing, the basic violations of human rights. And I was expecting to hear very definitive statements coming out there from the administration, but still nothing of substance there. I'm yet to hear what was said to that issue, but we have Tushaus the Tushau life is being threatened there at Chinese landing. Very, very serious matters. One thing for you to say.
Is very, very serious.
Mm-hmm.
And, I beg the question, where are the other authorities that should be looking into these issues and ensuring that every Guyanese feels safe? Mm-hmm. I know there are one particular minister especially like to say freedom of speech. Mm-hmm. Freedom of speech is back and so forth. Mm-hmm. I noticed one by the name of Glenn said that we need to visit the Amerindian communities. I want to say to Glenn that since I became the vice chair for Region 7, which is Cayuni Mazaruni, I've had the opportunity of traveling to some of the areas within the region. And what I saw, I can honestly say, was very disheartening. I know a lot of persons would say, well, the coalition had 5 years, why didn't they fix it? When you go to communities that have more than 400 or 500 people, 200-300 children, and they're not basic medication to treat malaria, and those areas can be accessed only through boat that takes hours upon hours to get there. It just says how neglected these communities were. And as much as we can say, well, there was 5 years for the coalition to fix it, we should all be able to say with our conscious minds that 5 years just was not enough for the magnitude of issues that had to be dealt with from the level of the foundation.
Well, the same people that says that.
Poor healthcare, poor education, poor facilities across the region. And I'm quite sure if anyone dare to venture into any one of those hinterland communities, then they will see how people are living right here in Guyana. It's quite unfortunate. And the Tushaus, I believe, should be able to represent their people without being afraid of political interference, of victimization. They should be able to speak the truth and to lobby for their people.
Free
You
from
know,
fear. And I think
yeah,
Sherrod said that this morning, democracy is not just about being free and fair, but free from fear as well. And that is the issue that you are hearing about right now, when persons are afraid of being victimized, and because of that they are somewhat muzzled. So very, very, very serious things there to think about. It's crazy.
yeah,
But when it comes to the indigenous communities and the coalition's tenure in office, with the indigenous communities, I can say that when it comes to access to information, that is one of the most serious platforms that the coalition administration took. That the persons living in the indigenous communities must have access, free, steady, constant access to information. And because of that, for the very first time in the history of our country, the indigenous communities saw, and the region saw the establishment of things like radio stations, ICT hubs, and those things. The very, very first time, right? Never before the PPP believed that always prior to 2015 that they could have been, they wanted to control the messaging that went out into the indigenous communities. So giving persons access to information, there wasn't a part of their priority to give them
no,
radio stations, and so it wasn't a priority of theirs, because then they would be hearing various information. Giving them access to the internet wasn't a priority of the PPP, because persons would have had the ability to go onto social media and access information from various platforms and so forth. The coalition administration never had an issue with doing it. And I want to say, at this point in time, that at the 2020 elections, and you can go fact check this if you want to, guys. But at the 2020 elections, when it comes to regions, regions that was prior to 2015, were more strongly supportive of the PPP administration. At the 2020 elections, if persons are to go back and check on those statistics, they would see that the votes for the coalition administration had increased tremendously as compared to the 2015 election. And it said a lot to me. It said that we were moving in a positive direction, and the people were seeing the actions, and they
yes,
responded by voting accordingly. I want to mention one other thing when it comes to the work done in the hinterland regions. If you could remember, a lot was talking about LETEM in specific here. When it comes to the infrastructure that was actually done, the infrastructure work that was actually done in LETEM, as the PPP had to have some nerve to go to LETEM, and drive on the road that the coalition government would have spent a lot of time and energy to make sure that the people living in LETEM there had those basic infrastructure.
yeah,
And they went there and said, oh, they haven't done anything. Stand on the road, drive on the road, and say, oh, what did they do for you? They have some gall, some nerve.
yeah. But that's something that they do to ensure that one of the reasons that people are deprived of accurate, factual information, access to education. That's one of the reasons that in a lot of these communities, people were left out from what is happening, really, really happening. So they were unaware. Whatever somebody or a group of people go and say to them, they believe it. That's one of the reasons with the Hinterland radio station program and all of that, was to get information across the country, so people can know what is happening in their country. I want to agree with somebody commented that this isn't about ethnicity of the people of this country. This is about Guyanese. And I want to say I totally agree with that. Whatever we speak on, we speak because we believe that every Guyanese, that is their right to have access to good health care, education, and all the other basic needs that they should have. But Joretta, I wanna talk about, since we started off talking about the Tushal Conference and the indigenous communities, but I want to talk about cost of living, because that is something that is really tremendously affecting people every day. And it's getting worse, and there is no realistic plan or action
Yeah.
that is being implemented to cushion what is happening. More and more people you find are crying out that, what the amount of money that is in their hand monthly cannot even be adequate for 2 weeks feeding their children and paying their bills and so forth. And in the hinterland region, it's far, far worse because getting commodities there makes it a lot more expensive.
Anything that they have to import, those things have to go by flight. But before we even go off there, one of the things I want to just mention, when you talk about indigenous people, you're talking specific, when we're speaking specifically about indigenous people and the rights of indigenous people and so forth, it's absolutely important for persons to distinguish why is it so important to clearly define indigenous people of our country. Indigenous people are what person refer a minority group in this country, and because of that, specific policy measures and so forth has to be enacted to make sure that their rights and freedom altogether is protected. So it's absolutely important for us to always to be and to be representatives and to amplify their voices and issues affecting them and deal with it in a very condensed and have quick remedies to issues that they have. We have so many situations that hardly see the light of day that happens in indigenous communities when it comes to the fact that you can go. Let me give you an example as to how things are. Ramadan, for example, Ramadan up there, Middle Mass, you have to literally take a flight and go up and then get a boat and then go to a Ramadan. And when you get there, you have a health outpost. There's the community there. Although it have that's where there's Refox secondary school is actually there, and all the secondary school age children from the middle Mass and upper Mass and goes to that specific secondary school and all of those things, right? What I can tell folks right now is that when something happens on the coastline to someone or in a township, and you go out, something happens that required police attention, you just go to the police station, you make a report. Ramadan is not a community that you can do that because there's no police outpost.
Yeah.
Right? There's no police outpost there. For you to get to a police outpost, you have to spend some time in the boat going from Ramadan all the way up there, and when you were done, when you were there, now you have the police station in that area, and it's a Camarang area, I mean specific there, because that's where you take the flight to, right? Yeah. And the police outpost is there at Camarang, and then there's no female police officer. Well, there hasn't been for the longest while. I don't know if there's any now, but there are very different dynamics in these communities. As opposed to any other community, you have to live it to understand it. So it's very necessary that you go out and we go out and make representation for these people, and we understand the dynamic. We understand how difficult it is. There are certain times that these communities they're without cell phone access because they're small communities, and because of that, when it comes to private sector investment, sometimes the costs outweigh the benefit, and the private sector machinery doesn't work as quick when that happens. So sometimes the cell phones, I think Digicel is one of the companies up there, kudos to them for having a tower there and so forth. But at some point in time, when they need those services are out and so forth, it's not fixed as fast as compared to if it's out on the coastline. I'm saying all of that to say, it's very important that we understand. It is very important that we understand the challenges faced by indigenous communities. Very, very important that we understand them, and we will understand the need for us to distinguish between how we address issues of marginalized, not marginalized so much, but of groupings in our country that is not of the same magnitude as other groupings. It's very, very important that we get that.
Well, Jarrett, I know for sure, when I took office, I know the Camarang community did not have a female police officer. And that meant that if there was an issue that required a female officer, such as a rape issue, anything concerning women, automatically they were deprived of any form of justice, because we know there are sensitive issues that can only be dealt with through a female officer.
Yes.
So that representation was made, and I do believe that by now they have at least one female officer was given assurance. I spoke to the commander of the region, and they were making some adjustments to the police station there, the building, to accommodate a female officer. When I went to Cameroon, there wasn't adequate accommodation suitable for a woman to be stationed there. So that alone says on the part of justice and delivering justice for the people of these indigenous communities, these hinterland regions, where it was at. And that's an injustice to the people. And God knows for how long there was not even one female police officer station in Cameroon.
Yeah, and I could speak specifically to that matter also when it comes to domestic violence and all of those situations, and the fact that the setup there it's not as easy as it's not easy at all for women to have representation at that level, for them to actually seek justice.
Yeah, but I believe moving forward, the most important part is Guyanese becoming the electorate, becoming more educated on issues. And like one person rightfully said, let your voices be heard at the ballot. We cannot continue to go down the same road that we have been trotting for the past 3-4 decades and expect to have different results. We have to be more informed, and when we cast our votes, it should be on policies and proper representation and the type of governance that you would get when you make that choice.
Yep. You know, lots are happening. Lest we forget, the same folks who now sing the care is folks who have bundle of nonsense and have done so in the past. The same folks that send the care now, and they run down there, mind you, they lock you out. They lock you out of the process, and we've been chronicling, for instance, what Tushau Nicholas, what's his name, Julia? Nicholas Fredericks wrote in just in today's Starbucks News. Also, what former advisor on Indigenous Affairs, Mr. Marvin Williams, have been saying on this issue as well. The people take over the whole thing. Not part of it, they have taken over the whole Tushau conference. The people don't have space to think, to move, to speak on their own behalf. You know, this boggles the mind. You know what's the problem? We see this over and over again, and we acclimatize it. So it doesn't bother you really, Julie. Right? This is like, I would put it on, well, you know, not to make light of that. It shouldn't really be critical. So don't go there. But this is madness. It's madness. You have an organization that, again, Nicholas Fredericks pointed out, according to the SOPs, should be independent. And you have these folks coming and dominating, imposing themselves and dominating the whole thing. Not a little piece, the whole thing never is dominated, the whole thing. It is very, very sad. And I want to quote just a piece of what, you know, the guys were talking about. Nicholas Fredericks, the Tushau, and Marvin Williams, the former advisor. Because unless they're comparing notes, they got a lot of truth in what they're saying. Yeah. Unless they're comparing notes to deliberately deceive. And I don't believe that's the case.
My thought on this is, where is the international community when all of these things are unfolding? What's happening with the democracy that that the people of Guyana stood up and said that, you know, and the international community. Where are they now?
Yeah.
What type of democracy do we have now?
Yeah.
You know, in all fairness, you're governing, you have to govern at a level that is acceptable. And what is happening is unacceptable.
Is the sheer level of wickedness. The sheer level of wickedness. Here, Mr. Williams. He says that there's no opportunity in the program for the immediate past executive of the National Truth Council to present its report, Kamal, which is usually discussed prior to being approved. There is no room in the program for an official handing over of the past executive to the incoming executive body. To shall say this is the work of dirty politics, of dirty political hand, rather. Right? There's no space. He says here the PP recently came. Well, rather, let me skip past that.
No, exactly. What kind of democracy is that?
That's not
We're going to
democracy.
use this word democracy.
It's not democracy.
This cannot be democracy. It is not democracy.
Correct. He says there's no place on the
And
program.
it is an injustice to the people.
No place on the program for indigenous
interaction.
group. Right?
Even interaction
That's what
amongst
he's saying
themselves,
here.
where they can share thoughts and ideas.
No closed room conversation.
I read the statement, so I know what
They're
was
breathing
said.
down the neck. They're monitoring them, you know, and inviting only those who will sing their hymns, right, or say nothing at all.
Yeah.
So once you say them is nice and they're doing well, you got things to get.
The people of Guyana will wake
Oh
up.
yes.
They will wake up.
Oh yes, that's what I want to know. I hope they know that. I hope they know. Marlon Thomas, you think they know? Pinky Vaughn, Alicia Motilal, you think they know? Guyana Spectator, how do you rationalize this?
Guyana Spectator, I think.
I would not even respond because
Like they do Guyana Spectator.
The trolls
Right?
gotta do what they gotta do. Everybody.
I think they went Suriname and they walked something strong. Right? And they get Guyana Spectator for a drink.
Well, it's.
And then they knock the cup bottom, make sure every drop go in.
We cannot be distracted by the foolishness.
I was
we have a
coming there,
constituency to represent.
Come on, he's a prophet, you know, because I was about to reflect on the scripture that says, "Oh, foolish Galatians, who have bewitched you?" Guyana Spectator, who has bewitched you? You better watch your eating and don't go by Imran Sitar.
Exactly. I want to agree with one of the persons with a comment that says that's exactly it. United we stand and divided we fall.
That's it.
We as Guyanese cannot stand up and say what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. When we look across the other regions, across the other countries, and see the citizens knowing their rights, standing up for rights and calling out the wrongs and demanding better. Until we come to that point where Guyanese understand the power of their voice, to be able to stand together and discontinue along that road where we allow people, because we support them, to do as they please, while the people of the country continues to suffer. Do right by the people.
Right? Well, I see somebody says that Guyana Spectator is a cross, but I cannot confirm nor deny. Cannot confirm nor deny. We're good to see Carol Rollins here.
Well, at least that person said one thing. Divided. Divided we all would fall. That's the reality of it, because when we lose and people from the outside come and take advantage and rape our country of its resources, we're denying our future generations of what's rightfully theirs. And we've seen it happen across many different continents, where the riches of those countries were harvested by other countries, and they're left in the most horrible way, where they're starving for food.
Yes, correct.
And it's not that they were poor countries, it's just that they were poorly managed. And Guyana is definitely not a poor country. But how you manage the country and what you do for the people of the country will decide if we're truly progressing or not. And we cannot have a progressive nation if you have half of the population struggling every day to put food on their table.
That's correct.
That's where we are, folks. That is where we are.
But some people, once they're joy, and you know, they can be a part of the cocktails and so forth. They don't care what's happening with the working class of people of Guyana. They don't care about what's happening in the underprivileged communities. You know, they don't care. They just are happy that they're getting to live the life or pretend like, because many of them are not even a part of the elitists, but just to be included or just to be able to take some photographs or to attend a function or to get a little bit of the benefit, even if it's crumbs, they don't care. You know, it's like you're ready to sell your entire family just because you're eating. And that is what you see is happening in Guyana. Once a certain section is enjoying the benefits, they don't care about the larger section.
You're quoting Martin Carter, mouth is always muzzled by the food it eats to live. Yeah. That's what he says, our late great national poet. That's where we're there. That's where we're there, people. We continue to monitor. Again, I want to reflect too.
I know Jaretta was bringing to my attention the resource course. But Jaretta, I want to say, from my opinion, I don't think there is a resource course. I would term it different. We have a course where we have people that are placed in positions that take up those positions as gods, and then they have the support of the people, their supporters, who treat them as though they are unblemished and they're not to be held accountable. Yeah. And that is the curse of Guyana. That we have. We don't demand demand accountability. We don't demand proper character, integrity, proper governance. We don't demand that. So when you are standing up for corruption and you're defending corruption, you're actually an enemy to your own country when you do that. But people do not realize that, because like I said, many of those persons, they're looking for their own personal benefits, their brown bag or whatever you call it. Yeah. So they are the ones that are actually enabling and empowering people, these people that are placed to manage our resources. So that's really the curse, not the resources. That's not the curse. It's the caliber of people that you have managing the resources. And moving forward, I believe that Guyanese are going to be more aware, and they're going to demand better for their country.
Please do, Guyanese.
The time will come. I believe that. I have hope, and I know that the younger generation do not care about race. Yeah. They do not care about rice flour.
Don't care about it. That happened with Chedi and who do what in 1964.
It's like,
you still hold on to that? Who hurt you, man? Shucks.
Yes, it's like all grievances, you keep teaching it to your grandchildren. So this all grievance keep regenerating itself.
Somebody in 1972 passed a lashing fence.
And because they benefit from
still carrying that.
From that. No,
you still carrying that.
Stop that madness.
Still carrying that.
We have to demand, and I want to say this, it doesn't matter who is in government, all Guyanese should demand. You have transparent governance. You have people in position that are accountable for their behavior. They're accountable to the people of the country in everything that they do. And I believe that we will have that shift, and a time will come where people will demand that we have better leaders.
Yeah, because if we have better leaders, come on, what Nicholas Fredericks said in today's Cyber News would not occur. If we had better leaders, we'd be held accountable. If we had a better society, we'd be held accountable. Hear what Frederick says. This is outgoing National Truth House Council chairman. He said, as the outgoing chairman of the National Truth House Council Executive, I expected and hoped to guide the planning of this year's conference with my fellow outgoing executive members. Instead, the planning of the conference has not included us. We as former leaders have been sidelined. We have been sidelined, and the agenda does not allow for the current two shows to run the conference themselves. Is who running it for them? Is who running it for them?
Sharon, I just want to read a comment by Marcel Williams that says, and this is her thoughts: more than half of the population is struggling to put food on the table. Want proof? Walk the streets throughout the length and breadth of Guyana, and you would realize that even the persons working are still suffering.
Yeah.
I 100%, it's more than half. You know, that's the reality of what is happening. For the man in the street, the people on the ground know what is happening to the Guyanese people. Every single day, commodities, the price of basic commodities keeps increasing. But yet still there is no realistic plan, action plan being implemented to cushion what is happening. People were already struggling with the salary they were receiving to make ends meet before the prices of food.
It's very unfortunate.
Food stuff.
Very unfortunate.
So now, you know, it's far, far worse, and that's the reality of it. And when you have one section of society parading as though all is well and it's a big carnival and everything is beautiful and bright and dandy, but you have your Guyanese people that is really suffering. Children going to bed without food because their parents naturally cannot make ends meet with the price of food stuff. You know, it's quite disheartening. It's an injustice to the Guyanese people.
And unacceptable. You know, I heard one fella very, very adamantly, he was vehement that things got up. He said, you know, even at Barumbar, things got up from 15,000 to 17. So we got to do something with this thing.
What went up at Barumbar?
Right. Something he was complaining about bitterly. He said gone up now from 15,000 to 17.
Well, that's something that I would not. When you talk about luxury stuff, well, that depends on a person. Yeah. But when it comes to rice, flour, sugar, talking about sugar, you can't find sugar in the supermarket.
Yeah, and then guys said they make sugar great again. How we looking?
How they looking? A lot of babies, families use sugar to make their babies porridge and all these things, and you cannot find sugar in a sugar producing nation. It really shouts of the state the country's in after so many billions over the past 2 years was pumped into that very same industry. And any right-minded thinking Guyanese would know that that is failure.
Correct.
You know, what can you blame that on? What can you blame that on? You know,
incompetence and
mismanagement. The former president, Donald Ramatar, he had spoken out about the sugar industry and the management of the sugar industry and what it was all about. But what he stated about management wanting to drive fancy, expensive vehicles and that type of thing. But I think that's the reality of what is happening across the board with governance. It's all about, you know, like, for example, when the APNO AFC was in government, I particularly know that former Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu came under great criticism for his security detail. Now I'm driving on the streets of Georgetown and it's everybody's vehicle in government and their family with a red and blue light. Apparently even their grandparents, you know, like even their grandparents have these lights now, and the citizens of Guyana just have to pull aside and allow this blatant disrespect for law and order in the country. And it's the reality. I don't have to.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Seeing it.
The other evening, I was coming into the city.
Every right-minded Guyanese is seeing what is happening, and that shows the respect you have for law and order.
Yeah. Saturday night, I was on Sheriff Street, and between just a couple of corners, there were 4 different sets of vehicles pushing you off the road with sirens, an entourage, about 4 different sets of vehicles. It's commonplace.
To this person, I can say, I didn't praise Ramatar. I agreed with the comment that he made because he made a realistic. His comment was factual. You, my friend out there, you have a problem differentiating when somebody is actually making a statement that is based on common sense. If Mr. Ramatar, the former president, noted and he saw it and he had to be angered, it reminds me of the tape that was leaked when there were very strong supporters of this government who said that their skin just crawl with the behavior of their fellow comrades, and I agree with that.
Very much so, very much so. Folks, we've had the privilege of having you here for about an hour now. Sion Butters and Cyclone Earl. Maxine Monroe, I see that comment there. Maxine says, share down from you hotter than fire. I tend to agree with you. Margaret Nelson, Deborah Clark, and Colin and all the other folks. I agree with you. If you sit in comparison to these lovely young ladies, I can defer to them, but otherwise, I accept. Colin Barnwell and all the other folks out there, a lot of stuff happening. A lot of stuff. We got to keep our hand on the pulse in the moment.
I want to say to Elizabeth that a lot of persons are so afraid of being victimized.
Yeah.
They're so afraid.
Yeah.
This is the reality. People are just trying to secure their livelihood. So you would find, like, rightfully what you're talking about, what is happening or had happened at the Tushau's conference. That's the reality. So you would find a lot of people are complying, not necessarily that they want to do certain things, but they're doing it because they're afraid. They got to secure their livelihood, and that is such a saddening and sad state for Guyanese people to be in. And even I think it was yesterday on social media, I saw a number of posts where persons were talking about even being in the police force and being afraid to speak out for their rights. So that tells you where we are when people are afraid to simply use their voice and say what is the reality, what is happening. And it's sad. It's very, very sad. A lot of people reach out in our inboxes and say, but the first thing they say, please do not reveal my identity.
Correct.
You're living in a democratic country.
Delete this message so that you finish reading it.
You're living in a so-called democratic country and you're afraid to say what is happening. People are afraid to come forward. But I want to say to those people, you use your voice when you hit the ballot. That is when you make your voice count.
Correct. Jason Bowen, good to have had you here. Patricia Kissoon, Rhonda Lane says she's in GT on Thursday around 10:30. I hear you, Rhonda. I see that. I look forward for your call. Yep, Gwyneth Anderson, Patricia Kissoon, good to have you folks on the live. And I'm so happy that Kamal dropped by today. So happy.
Thank you. I dropped by to see Joretta.
I beg your pardon.
I had to bring her.
Let me take it back now.
But I want to know why is it every time I drop by, you always wearing color coordinated, you have some telepathic kind of powers.
You can't stand a stylist,
So our listeners out there, Sharad is wearing pink and I'm wearing pink along with her denim jeans.
You can't stand a stylist. I pick up in the spirit into me because see when your spirit clean. When your spirit clean, you pick up things. Right? Like how I picking up things about Ghana spectators only time.
But thank you for having me, stepping in and not being prepared to actually be a part of your program.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
But I'm happy to lend my voice.
Happy that you use an executive decision and you stepped in.
Oh yes,
executive decision.
That's how we roll.
The vice chair, Region 7
from Artica, that's how we roll.
The executive decision. I'm on the program today.
Yes,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
When it comes to our minds, we use our own initiatives and
Ghana spectators has shared is a pimp. Finally, somebody is recognizing mature
I think
talent.
that's one of your biggest fans.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think that's your biggest fan. You know, they say love can disguise as hate, and hate
We
can
feel love.
disguise
We
as
feel
love. So
we feel love. Martin Luther King says,
I see it as nothing more than love.
Gotta try love. Hate is too great a burden to bear.
Exactly.
You understand? So we can try love. We can try love. Finally, somebody recognize me.
So, so the people of Guyana keep
pressing on. Right?
Yep.
Better days will come.
We have to demand that we have better governance.
Demand more.
Yeah.
Demand more.
Yep.
Demand more. Jurija, thank you so much. Helping us through the paces today. I mean, you're about a little early, but we gonna forgive you.
I had two competent colleagues at the wheel, so I could have given myself a few seconds rest here and there.
Yes, sir. I see it and think, come on, who's the other person? Folks, we're so happy that you guys are here. Alicia Motilal, thanks for joining us. Looking forward to see you guys back this evening. Cycling or Ririmingo Garaway, good to have had you here. And Marilyn Thomas, Marcel Williams, all the other folks who have joined us today, including not limited to Guyana Spectator by any means. You know, the small ones is always come by. It's the big folks we're so thankful for, like Cherry Basket, Greenwich, and Wilma Grant, and so forth. The little ones we're happy for.
I want to ask a question before I leave, before I take my leave. Why is it when I comment, I don't ever get these shout outs when I see Guyana Spectator?
I'm going to leave this to you,
so
Sharon.
Much shout out. I comment like 100 times just for a shout
listen
out.
to me. You know, the shepherd always leaves the flock and go behind the one. It's the wayward one.
Okay.
Right? You just got to go behind, but break the foot and bring them back.
I saw Natalia, I think. Thank you for your lovely comment. It's a pleasure to lend my voice.
Yes, we're happy that your voice was here today. And we hope it's here more often. We hope that you come by.
I hear you loud and clear,
right?
sir.
We'd love to have you in the city, you know.
Yeah.
We'd love to have more of you in the city.
Yes.
More of you in the city.
Yes. I think the city loves me too.
Yeah, it does a lot. A lot. Very much a lot.
Yes.
Bigly.
Don't worry. In just a matter of years, I'll be representing my constituents on a larger scale.
Judith says over now, folks.
Be more in the city.
I love that. I love to hear that. I love that. I love the channel of that.
That doesn't stop in Bartica.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we're unstoppable.
Yeah. We are unstoppable, folks.
Yes.
But we can stop Guyana Spectator. The spectating days are limited.
No, listen, that is your one of your biggest fans. I've seen him comment so much, kept the podcast lively. Sometimes it's good to have interaction.
How come we could get him in the serial work here and every day? Listen to this. It's must be part of him in the serial work to listen. Folks, thanks for being here. Jude has left the studio unceremoniously. And we gotta go. We're gonna see you guys right back here at 8 this evening. Come on again. Region 7 Vice Chair.
Thank you for having me.
Come out. Prasad. Yep.
Bye,
good to have you
everyone.
folks. Stay safe. We're out. Share the live, smash the emoji button, guys, and partner with us. Y'all know we on Cash App, we on Facebook, we on Message, we on PayPal, we on what's the other one? Zelle and MMG, MoneyGram, Western Union. We all over, folks. We plenty and we enough.
You got any pension plan?
Like this business. Folks, thank you very much. See you guys at it. That's our time. That's our program.
Bye. Can you get this?